Welcome to another episode of the Multifamily Collective. Today, let's talk about integrity. What happens to trust when integrity cracks? So let's unpack the word integrity for just a second. It's a Latin word. It comes from integer meaning intact. So in an organization, it's important to keep integrity intact because the second that you create cracks in integrity, it's akin to think about a supply line that puts water into your home. And let's think about the supply line that comes in from the street, right? That is supplying water to your property. Many years ago, they used different materials to create those supply lines that come in, or there's tight lines that come in from the street to your home that supply water. And the integrity of that material is such that if it springs a leak, generally it presents in the yard as a puddle, you dig down, you fix that piece of pipe, but then what happens? When you fix that, it puts more stress. That's a good piece of pipe now. It puts stress downstream, upstream, and you get leaks in other places, right? So you have to be careful to make sure that you keep integrity intact in your organization. Let me tell you a place where integrity really cracks up and breaks up a lot. When you have somebody in your organization, let's say the CEO or somebody in a very powerful position, who starts to lead downstream, they skip level and they go downstream and they start to lead downstream because they're not satisfied with some results or whatever it might be. They're suspicious in some way, shape, or form. So they just skip one layer, two layers, three layers of leadership, and they start getting information from, in the multifamily space, they get it from property managers. They get it from regional managers. They don't like the answers that they get from senior leadership, so they go get their answers from somewhere else. And many times they're formulating things in their head. They're telling themselves stories in their own head, and then they're going out and validating that information with people who are generally far less powerful in person and in character than they are. So they're just going to say whatever the CEO or that very powerful position person wants to hear. And it starts to disrupt the integrity of the organization top to bottom. And nobody trusts anybody in that circumstance. I've worked in environments like that. It is absolutely the worst, most toxic environment you can possibly imagine. And it's terrible. And if you ever get yourself in an organization or you find yourself in an organization where you see people skipping levels down in the organization to get information and then using that information in a way that is disruptive to the organization, my recommendation, strong recommendation, is get out. Don't stick around and wait it out. Don't do that. You only hurt yourself. You only hurt yourself in a circumstance like that because you think it's going to get better at some point in time, but it doesn't. The trust is broken. And it's very hard to repair trust, especially if you're a person who you're smart enough to know that that is happening, and you see that it breaks the integrity top to bottom in the organization, but you sit in it anyway. You just do yourself a disservice because it's not going to change. It's not going to change. In fact, it will probably get worse before it gets better. So my recommendation, my encouragement to you is get out of that type of organization. If you're in a toxic organization where trust is broken and it's because integrity has really been cracked, and it's probably because somebody in a position of power is skipping levels and going down and causing disruption, just get out. It's okay. If you've worked in an organization for a long bit of time and you're in an environment, that environment is sort of morphed into something like that, it's okay to get out. It's okay to tap out and go to an organization where you're appreciated or that particular thing doesn't exist, because you will thrive in that type of organization. You will not thrive in the other kind of organization. It just won't happen for you. So that's my encouragement to you today. Integrity in an organization. It's not just about truth telling, right? It's about appreciating a system that is in place for a reason to make the organization move forward. And if you don't trust that as a C-suite person or as a SVP person, anybody in the organization that has a senior level title, then you need to get real straight with the person that you're not trusting. And you figure out what that is, figure out what the root cause of that is. Don't skip around the organization. All you do is tear it apart. Take care. We'll talk to you again soon.